You ever drive back to a place that holds your whole childhood, only to find it's been ripped apart, turned into something you don't even recognize? That's what hit me like a freight train when I rolled into Willow Creek, Georgia, after 10 years away, expecting to see my family's old cabin by the lake, surrounded by pines and memories, only to find rows of cookie-cutter McMansions, shiny and smug, like they own the place. My name's Jordan Hayes, and this is the story of how my 92-year-old granddad, Samuel Hayes, a Korean War vet with a steel trap mind, outsmarted a pack of greedy developers who thought they could steal our land and got away with it, until they didn't. I'd been in Atlanta, grinding away at my architecture firm, building a life I thought was mine, telling myself I didn't need Willow Creek anymore. But Granddad's voice on the phone last week had this spark, this cryptic edge, like he was holding a winning poker hand he wasn't ready to show. "Jordan, come home," he said. "There's something you gotta see." So I rented a car, drove 3 hours under a punishing Georgia sun, and when I crested that hill, my heart sank. Where there'd been wild meadows and the lake my great-great-grandfather fished after the Civil War, there were now 96 mansion shaft million-dollar monstrosities with 3-car garages and fake stone facades. A sign at the entrance read, "Welcome to Willow Pines Estates, a planned community by Willow Pines HOA. No trespassing." No trespassing? On our land. The cabin was still there, looking small and tired, swallowed by sidewalks and ornamental shrubs that screamed money. I sat in the car, AC blasting, trying to wrap my head around it. This wasn't just a violation, it was a betrayal, like someone had torn out a piece of my soul and paved it over. My phone buzzed before I could even get out. It was Granddad, sharp as ever, his voice almost mischievous. "Jordan, you see it now? Don't get mad yet, son. Listen close, this ain't a loss. This is what I've been waiting for." I was half listening, staring at the audacity of it all, when a golf cart zipped up, driven by a woman in her 50s, Karen Caldwell, president of the Willow Pines HOA. She had that southern smile that's all teeth and no warmth. "Excuse me," she said, her voice dripping with bless your heart venom. "This is a private community. You can't park here." I told her who I was, that this was Hayes' family land, and her face hardened. "Oh, you're the grandson. Well, I hate to break it to you, Mr. Hayes, but this land was sold to us 3 years ago, fair and square. Your grandfather passed, and the county settled his estate. You'll need to leave, or we'll have to discuss removing that shack." She meant the cabin, where I'd spent every summer learning to fish, play chess, and listen to Granddad's war stories. I gripped my phone, hearing Granddad chuckle softly. "Karen's got no idea what's coming," he said. "Check the paperwork, son. All of it." That night, in the cabin's dim light, surrounded by memories and a stack of solar-powered camera gear I didn't remember, Granddad walked me through his plan over the phone. He wasn't dead. He'd been living 30 miles away under a fake name with an old army buddy who knew how to bury records. For 20 years, he'd rigged the property with hidden cameras, capturing every move the developers made: illegal wetland clearing, tossed boundary markers, construction debris dumped in protected zones. "This ain't just evidence, Jordan," he said. "It's a time bomb." My head was spinning, but he was calm, like a general who'd already won the war. The next day, I met with his lawyer, Clara Thompson, a soft-spoken black woman who'd fought alongside him in courtrooms for decades. She showed me documents that made my jaw drop: a 1956 Federal Heritage Protection Contract, a nonprofit called the Willow Creek Trust that owned the land, and a clause requiring every living Hayes descendant to approve any development. That'd be mean. I sure as hell hadn't signed anything. Then came David Larson, a surveyor who'd worked for the HOA. Nervous, sweaty, he met me at a diner and slid over a contract with a bombshell addendum. Any commercial development voided the deal. "Your granddad made me add it," he said. "Told me one day someone would try to steal this land, and I'd need to pick a side." I could barely process if this wasn't just about our land anymore. It was a setup, a trap Granddad had been weaving since before I was born. The HOA didn't take kindly to my poking around. By day 3, they'd cut the cabin's power and water, and 3 goons in a pickup rolled up, led by a guy with a Confederate flag tattoo, who leaned in close and said, "Jordan, nothing personal, but you need to be gone by Friday or things get messy." I smiled, knowing Granddad's cameras were rolling, catching every word. That night, a woman named Emily Carter, A single mom who'd bought one of the houses called me to the old boat dock. She handed me a folder of title papers with red flags pending environmental clearances, archaeological survey requirements. I thought this place was safe, she whispered. But Karen's hiding something big. She was scared, but she was done being complicit. Things hit a boiling point at the HOA's community meeting. Karen had it staged like a trial. Her and her board up on a platform, 90 residents glaring at me like I was the villain. She launched into her spiel. Mr. Hayes claims this land is his, but we bought it legally after his grandfather's estate was settled. He's here to stir trouble. The crowd ate it up until I stood up. Karen, you're real sure about that paperwork? 'Cause I'm an architect, and I know you didn't get permits to build in a protected wetland or approvals for a historic site. The room shifted. Then an old woman, Ruth Bennett, stood up. I worked at the county land office 40 years, she said, voice like a blade. Never saw a deed transfer for the Hayes land. And I know Samuel Hayes paid his taxes in 2020. Dead men don't do that. Karen's face cracked, and the crowd started whispering, doubting. The real fireworks came in court. Karen's lawyers, led by some slick guy named Richard Tate, flashed a forged death certificate for Granddad and a stack of official documents. They thought they had it locked until Clara dropped the tax receipts proving Granddad was alive. And then, like something out of a damn movie, the courtroom doors swung open, and there was Granddad, 92 years old, in his Korean War uniform, medals gleaming, walking in like he owned the place. The room went dead silent. Your Honor, he said, saluting the judge. I'm Sergeant Samuel Hayes, and I'm very much alive. Karen looked like she'd seen a ghost. Then FBI agent Monica Reed stood up, flashing her badge. We've got warrants for Karen Caldwell, her manager Tom Reed, and State Senator Paul Grayson fraud, forgery, civil rights violations. The courtroom exploded as agents cuffed them, Karen sputtering about misunderstandings, Grayson yelling about his rights as they dragged him out. Judge Laura Franklin laid down the hammer. The land belonged to the Willow Creek Trust. The HOA owed us $45 million for damages, and every house was illegal. But Granddad and I didn't want to ruin the families who'd been duped. We turned the houses into affordable homes for teachers, nurses, folks who needed a break. Emily Carter runs the place now, renamed Willow Creek Village. David Larson's building a museum about Black land ownership. Sitting on the cabin porch, watching Granddad teach kids to fish, I realized this wasn't just about winning, it was about turning greed into something good, about justice that builds instead of burns. But here's the thing, some folks in town still say we went too far, that those families didn't deserve to lose their dream homes, even if they were built on lies. What do you think? Was justice worth the cost? Or should we have let it slide to spare the innocent? Drop a comment. Tell me your take. I am reading everyone. If this story hit you, give it a like, share it, and subscribe to hear more about underdogs fighting back. This is Jordan Hayes, signing off from Willow Creek, where we proved you don't mess with a man who spent 70 years waiting to checkmate.